guys, ew, spirit fingers, that's what I just did. That's so gross. So I just got ready because we're gonna go do some Christmas shopping. Well, stocking stuffer shopping, so I mean, yeah, I guess Christmas shopping. But I had somebody reach out to me on a different platform asking me if I can discuss some of my experiences in foster care. Can I fix my eyebrows? Can I just do that real quick? I need these a little more up. But anyways, so I was like, oh, that would be a really good video because I had some experiences in foster care that I feel like maybe some people could relate. Some people could just get an insight what it's like to be in foster care. Well, at least my experience in foster care. And not everybody is this bad, guys. Or like doesn't have this bad of experience in foster care or is in foster care this long. So just take that. There's a mirror next to me and I like went like this to my hand and it literally looked like something jumped out at me, but it was my hand. Anyways, that's besides the point. So I'm gonna try not to talk with my hands. But I was in foster care when I was seven. When I was seven, I got taken away. The cops showed up at my school, ripped me out of my classroom in front of all of my friends, and it honestly was so traumatic. It was like, what the frick is going on? I never saw my friends after that. So imagine being like, and guys, I'm telling you, like when I was in school, little first grade, second grade, third grade me, which the school that I was attending at that time, right before I got taken away, I was there for 3 years. That was the longest time I've ever been in a school. I'm going to calculate it, or I'm not going to calculate it, but I'm going to add it up, and I'll put it in the comments. But I believe I've been to like 15 schools by the time I was in 5th grade. So, sorry, my little, you got 20% left on your battery, whatever popped up. But I'm gonna like calculate it because I'm pretty sure it's like 15 schools, if not 10, but it's still a lot by the time you're in 5th grade. So this was like the longest time I've ever been in school. And I was like, honestly, okay, yes, I was like I know I smelled, my house was disgusting. None of my friends came over. Only 1 or 2 of my friends ever came over, and that's because like I was like best friends with this one girl, especially this one girl. Her name's Aaliyah. Love her. We were, guys, we were literally like this, okay? And yes, I'm in contact with her now, and we don't talk that much, but like I feel like we still have this bond that we could just pick up anywhere we left off, honestly. And I love her so much. But anyways, I love her. And she and her family, like, I felt like is what, like, they were like my break away from the home I was living in, if that makes sense. They were essentially, I feel like, my perfect family, even though I know she didn't have like the perfect family, but it was way more perfect than my family. Oh, I just love them so much. And I can go into that, but that's not the point of this video. But I had this really good group of friends, and I was the girl that, like, me and Aaliyah were the girls that played with the boys, and we were just like, I don't know, I feel like we had like great time, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade together. So many memories with her. So imagine just having that great relationship, that bond with all those kids, and then the police showing up, ripping you out of your classroom. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what's going on. All you know is something's not right because the cops are coming to get you. And I remember crying, and I remember just my little 3rd grade boyfriend, Tanner. Yes, I remember his name. I remember just like, I love you, and like, I don't know what's going on. And I remember him telling me, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay, Rebecca. And I remember those words coming out of his mouth, and that was so sweet. And I remember going home, and they're basically telling me, like, your stepmom was asleep, your little sister got out of the house, and that's just when, boom, foster care happened. I remember we got in the cop cars, went to the TFI building, the company that was like the foster care company, I guess. There's different ones, but we had like TFI, and I remember it's like, get a trash bag, fill what all you want to take, and I'm like, I knew we were not going back home. Why are we filling a trash bag of stuff? We're not coming back home. So I remember we put like all of our, like, I don't know, sentimental stuff. I'm like grabbing like a teddy bear that I had when I was like really, really little. My sister's grabbing her blanket, her baby blanket that she's like is literally like a rag. And like I just remember packing up like that. And our first foster home was a fucking shit show. We showed up in trash bags. So for most of you who probably don't know, a lot of times foster kids either show up with nothing, they show up with maybe a backpack. They're lucky if they have a backpack or a duffel bag, but most of the time it's a trash bag. You show up with a trash bag full of your stuff, and that's what you have. And we showed up with that, and because our stuff was in trash bags, she assumed like this is trash. So she throws all of our stuff away, and I remember just like, what? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I had nothing. Was I very thankful that I got all brand new stuff? Yeah, we had brand new clothes. We smelled good. Like we took baths like a regular person. On a regular occasion, we took baths. That was something I never did before. It's like, honestly, I just feel like I know I was like the stinky kid. I mean, I did show up to school one time and like all this was so bald because I had, you can get it from animals. I can't think of the name, but ringworm. I had a ringworm. My friend Aaliyah was like, Becca, you're bald. I'm like, what do you mean I'm bald? And I had like ringworm. Like, I was just like gross. My house was disgusting. I mean, bugs. I mean, holes with floors. Our beds were just pee beds. It was disgusting. And so I never liked anybody over. And so was I very, very thankful that I had new stuff? Yes. But why throw away what we had left of our what we only knew, I guess. Especially sentimental stuff. Why? I don't know. It's really sad to me. But being in that foster home, and then my sister peeing in the bed, and then the foster mom not liking that, and so forcing my sisters to sit on the toilets all day long. My little sister sitting on the little baby ones because she was like one, trying to like make her sit there as long as she possibly could to pee in there. And then my other sister sitting on the toilet, like a normal sized toilet, eating and drinking and doing whatever to go to the bathroom on the toilet because she peed the bed because she was scared. I was in school, so I never experienced that stuff at home or at that foster home all day long because I was at school. But my sister told me, she's like, I sit on a toilet all day or something like that. A little 3 or 4 year old would say. And I was like, that's not okay. So I did not like that. I do remember she would like spank us and stuff like that and like force us to eat what she wanted us to eat. Like I remember she'd force us to eat oatmeal, oats, not oatmeal, wheatmeal. I don't know. You know the other stuff that's like oatmeal, but it's not. She'd force us to eat that. I remember gagging, and she would like shove it down my throat. She'd be like, "No, you're an ass." Yeah, no. So I remember saying something along the lines like, "My Gammy's coming to get us." I don't know how I got in contact with my Gammy. I don't know that stuff, but I know she picked us up. We stayed with my Gammy for a certain amount of time. I don't know the exact reason why we left my Gammy's, but we did. I'm sure I can get that information, but I don't think I've ever actually asked. And if she told me, I totally forgot because like it just happened. We went to another foster home. This other foster home was a total shit show too, guys. This foster home, I mean, my room had a bunk bed and a dresser. My 2 sisters had like 2 single beds with nothing, but she had a daughter who had like this every girl's dream bedroom, like princess decked out, like the drapey thing that hangs over your bed. She had her own bathroom, like literally every toy possible. Like this girl had it all, and we had nothing. And then we came with some clothes, maybe a couple toys. I don't even know if we came with toys from our last foster home to this foster home. Once again, I was going into school, so I wasn't home all day with my 2 sisters. But I remember times like it'd be movie night, and she would force my 2 little sisters to stay in the room. Like they had a gate, and they were not allowed to come across that gate while we were downstairs watching the movie. The dad was never in the home. The dad was military, so I think he was deployed during the time that we stayed there. There was 2 fights that had broke out between me and the foster mom, and the second one, well, each fight she called the cops, or somebody called the cops, because I mean, I was at one point outside screaming, banging on the door. But it was the first one when the cops came. One of the cops held me down and was like, like screaming in my face, while the other cop was like, no, don't do that, like whatever, put me in the front of the police car. Or maybe it was, see, this is where I'm gonna get things messed up. Maybe it was that first cop who held me down was the second fight. That makes more sense. Okay, I think that was it. The first cop who held me down was the second fight. So the second cop who was like super nice and had me in the car, and was like trying to calm me down. He took me around town or whatever, brought me home, and things are settled. The second fight is when, okay, I think that's where it was, because it was like the biggest fight. And this is when I got separated from my two sisters. But the second fight, I don't remember exactly what it was about. I felt like it was like stupid. I do remember saying I'm gonna beat up her daughter because like you treat us completely different. Like, why does she get to live this luxurious life and like we're nothing? We're literally nothing. And for an 8-year-old to say that, by this time I was like 8 years old. For an 8-year-old to say that, it's like, wow. Like I remember saying that. And it's so sad to me to think like, oh my God, little me was like recognizing the trauma, the difference, the abuse that went on. Even if it wasn't physical, it was emotional, verbal, mentally abusive. And so I remember that I freaking locked myself in my bedroom at that time, and I like took the bunk bed apart, like I ripped it down, busting holes through the walls, through the doors, ripping the blinds off. I remember the cop like busting through the door, and this is when he got on top of me. He's like screaming at me, and I remember like that's when I got taken away because an on-call social worker or something like that picked me up, took me to the hospital, and I remember sitting and waiting. It was like in the middle of the night. I was waiting for I'm assuming it was like a psychologist or something, because he was asking me all these like very detailed questions. I remember them saying, are we keeping her I remember it's like keeping her in a psych ward or whatever part of the hospital, at one of the hospitals in Wichita that's like for like psych kids or psych people or whatever. I remember like talking about that, but at the time I didn't know exactly what that was. I just knew that didn't sound good, and I was not going to be with my sisters. And so finally they're like, no, we're not doing that. So she ends up taking me to my favorite foster home of all time. Love them. I think I stayed with them for about a year. But I was separated from my sisters. I don't know if my sisters stayed at that one foster home or if they went to a different one. I don't know. But I remember having visits with them ever so often, visits with my biological parent, or at least my biological dad and my stepmom. My biological mom was out of the picture when I was really young. And then I remember like just having a grand old time living there. I could go into details, a different story about living there and how amazing it was. And like, I actually felt loved. I mean, I felt loved at my Gammys, don't get me wrong. I love my Gammy and my Papa Tom, and I had everything I could ever want with my Gammy and my Papa Tom. But like, besides like family like that, like actually being in a foster home, like this was the first foster home that I felt I was no different than their little girl. No different. I mean, to this day, I still talk to them. To this day, they're still like my parents. I mean, I still think of their daughter as my sister, and I love them. And finally, after a year, maybe a couple months, I don't know my timelines, my sisters ends up moving in with me, and it was like, great, whatever. I don't know exactly why we got taken out of that house. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. But we ended up going into the family that adopted us, and that is a total different video. That could be like a way different video. But that is my story of being in foster care, some of the things I experienced, and I think the thing I want to get out of this video is because I do see it a lot, and I still see it in people that are younger than me that I'm like talk to, or they've talked to me or whatever, or like I just know them and I've seen it on social media. It is not okay to judge and to make fun of and to criticize and put a kid on blast. I don't care if they're a teenager. I don't even care if they're a kid. Like, it doesn't matter. Somebody you're going to school with, it is not okay to do that, because you do not know what they're going through. You have no idea what their home life is like. You just don't know. And so I think that's what I don't know. Just it's a huge ick of mine. And I don't know how to say this. Like, I was a bully too when I was this kid. I understand that. I feel like you're just a bully. Okay. Yes, I was one when I was in school and stuff like that. But I don't think I was never, I mean, social media like that was not like really a thing when I was young. Or I just didn't have social media. And so we didn't have the ability to do that. But like a bully to her face, okay, yeah, I was definitely, I could have been that. But now that I'm older and I'm matured and I've actually lived through these experiences and I've learned some stuff, like I feel like we have to stop. We need to just accept people for who they are. And even if you don't like what they're doing, or maybe that they're dressed weird or something like that, because you don't like it, that doesn't give you a reason. That is not a legitimate reason to freaking talk down to them or make fun of them, post them on social media. Like nothing. It is such a serious issue that I've seen. And so I think out of this video, it's like, please, because honestly, I was the person that you're making fun of. I was that person, and I might have not been that person because of the way like I dressed up like an animal or something like that. I definitely didn't do that, but like I'm just saying that's what I've seen. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like you don't know. Like what if that's their only way of feeling somewhat like themselves in a sense? You know, at home maybe they're just being totally talked down to or mistreated or something, and they're using that as like a trauma response. Okay, and that's the best way I can explain it. So that is my story of being in foster care. That is what I want people to get out of this video. Even if teenagers don't watch this, but it's like people with teens and they're doing that. Please, let's have that discussion because it is not okay to sit there and judge somebody because we do not know their story. And I am so very, like, it almost brings me to tears, like, very thankful for my friend Aaliyah that I had because, like, I feel like we both had our own different types of trauma, but we clicked and, like, we had each other's back. She had a lot of stuff and she was, like, had the life that I honestly wish I would have lived. But, I mean, I'm not going to tell her story because I don't know the details or anything like that. But I just know her parents weren't together. And so I know that's just trauma of having divorced parents. But the fact that she accepted me for who I was and not because of where I lived, what I smelled like, my clothes, or nothing like that, we freaking clicked. And I love her and I'm thankful I had that one friend because I don't think I could have gone through school. Even just being, you're probably thinking, girl, you're first, second, third grade. And like, yeah, I was that young, but like still going through those experiences, like I don't think you understand that totally changes your mindset at a young age. Like I'm not thinking like a typical 8-year-old, 7-year-old, 6-year-old when you're living in a situation like that. Like if you were to, like I feel like if you were to compare my husband's mindset at 6, 7, and 8 compared to my mindset at 6, 7, and 8, completely different. He was a kid, I was an adult, and that's just how it is. But anyways, that's my like little story. This is a very long video and I'm so sorry, but I told you I'm not editing. It's gonna be real raw and intimate. I don't know, is that a word? I don't want to use that word, that's weird. It's gonna be authentic. That was weird. I'm not using that word. Ugh, cringe. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great day.